Hi, for those of you who are new to sewing, I was wondering if you actually knew how to cut out. You can't just take your pattern pieces and point them on anywhere and any way and hope for the best. This is a velvet fabric I'm cutting out, but it applies to any fabric. Your pattern pieces must all lie in the same direction. They've all got lines on, and they all show you which way along the grain they have to go. I'll demonstrate that in a bit. You have, on a velvet fabric, if you feel it, one way feels smooth and one way feels rough. It's up to you whether you have the pile going up or down, because, well, as long as they all remain the same way, because if you have some pieces one way, some pieces the other, they will reflect light differently, and it will be really obvious that, you know, it won't look right. So I've got some pattern pieces here, and they say that they have to be on the fold of the fabric. So I always start off with the pieces that have to be on the fold, because they're there for a reason. These are at the front of the bodice, and we don't want to seem similar with the skirt, which I've already pinned on. We don't want to see what the centre front on this particular pattern. So we need to fit some extra pattern pieces on. That's the front bodice lining. That's the centre front of the bodice. It's got a two-piece bodice. It's this pattern here. Although I'm not doing a contrast because I think there's enough in the fabric here. So we need to fit on a back bodice, a side front bodice, a sleeve flounce, which will go around there, and a sleeve. Now they all need to go the correct way. The skirt I've got going in one particular direction, and everything else must follow suit. I pinned two pattern pieces on already that are on the fold of the fabric, so we know that they're straight. My self edges of the fabric meet, so I know the fabric is correct and it's not going to be warped. And as I was saying, you can't just pin your pieces of tissue paper on any old way. They've all got what's called grain lines, and that's a line that runs down. That shows you that it must go on the grain of the fabric. So how do I find the grain of the fabric? You have to measure it. It's best if you measure it from the self edge, but it doesn't really matter whether you use the fold or not. So make your best guess to see whether the line to you looks straight. And then the only thing you can do is, I start with a pin here, just on the grain line, and then I measure that. And I move my tape measure along, and that is just slightly out, so I'm just going to pull it slightly, and that is now, the whole line is an equal distance away from the self edge. So that pattern piece I know will be straight, and I'm just going to check it again to make sure it's the same all the way. Yeah, it is. So I'm happy with that, so I'm going to continue pinning it on. And you have to do this for every single pattern piece. You can't just guess. If you're short of fabric, then I'd either try and buy some more fabric or make something else, because I know I've seen some people trying to fit the pattern pieces on any old way, and your dress will never hang straight. It will never look right, because, and this is a rib jumper I've got on, and all the ribs are going down, and it makes it fit proper. If they were skew-iffed, then the jumper would pull in parts and hang down in parts, and it wouldn't look right. And it's the same with dressmaking. I was watching on something on Twitter that a girl had posted. She's new to sewing, bless her, but she'd just got all the pattern pieces and she just tried to squash them on absolutely any way she could, and it's never going to work. So if you're a beginner to sewing, you might as well learn the correct way from the beginning, don't you think? It really does matter. It makes a difference. The other thing you need to do which I have done and I do every single time, is to check your measurements and never ever go by your ready-made dress size, because it will differ enormously from your pattern size. Patterns haven't really kept up with the times. If you go and buy, say, a dress or a skirt from Marks and Spencer and you buy a size 12, it's vanity size, so that size 12 is not the same measurements as it would have been, what, 20 years ago. If you were a size 12 20 years ago, you probably find that you need a size 16 or something now. It's nothing wrong with you, it's just that customers want to see smaller sizes on the clothes labels or with ready-made. You don't have that, do you? You don't have to put labels in. So patterns have not been vanity size, so these are true sizes. So don't be surprised if when you come to take your measurements it says to cut out a size 16. If your measurements tell you to cut out a size 16, cut out a size 16. A lot of the indie patterns, those from independent companies now, they have letters instead of sizes. So instead of 10, 12, 14, 16 and so on, they'll have A, B, C, D, which actually makes you not so conspicuous. But when you've made your garment, nobody's going to know what size it is. They just know that you look great in something that fits well. So that's how to cut out a pattern. You will also need, of course, some really, really sharp scissors. These are very special ones. Never ever use your cutting out shears for anything other than the purpose they were meant for. Certainly don't cut paper, not even the tissue paper pattern. You must have some special paper scissors for that, because they will just blunt them. Your fabric scissors are for fabric and fabric only. So that's just a little hint for you for how to cut out. So if you have any questions, then there's a contact form on my blog, which is www.sewangelicthreads.co.uk, or just put hashtag Sew Angelic Threads into a Google search engine and you'll find me that way. So I hope this has been helpful to you. It might seem like it's a waste of fabric, but the most important thing is that you get a proper fitting garment, isn't it? So pin your pieces on correctly, measure the grain so that your pieces are straight. Make sure you have enough fabric. If you've not, then see if you can make something else. Now I'm going to continue cutting this pattern out, so happy sewing. Thank you.